Welcome to our AI track, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dirk Rogel, Managing Director of Travel Commerce, and I have the proud honor to guide you through the next 3 hours over the wide field of artificial intelligence. Are autonomous agents taking over? Who will be replaced? What are core advantages for our travel industry, and what are the risks and challenges in it? We jump from theory and predictions this year, as it has been in the past 2 years, honestly, into best practices and really tangible approaches. And as a great warm-up, here comes the first one. Please welcome Cloudbeds, Hospitality's AI revolution, unlocking untapped potential with AI. Please welcome Amit, Popat, Head of Machine Learning at Cloudbeds, and Nikhll, Shah, Head of Data Science. Welcome, Nikhll. Welcome, Amit.
Hi.
Hi there. So yeah, I'm Amit Popat, Head of Machine Learning here at Cloudbeds, and I'm joined by my colleague, Nikhll.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nick Shah, Head of Data Science at Cloudbeds. And in particular, Amit and I head the AI Fundamental Research Labs at Cloudbeds.
So what we're here to speak about today is how we're unlocking untapped potential in the hospitality industry using AI. And you know the challenges that we're facing today. Hoteliers are being asked to do more with less. Things like drive more revenue, increase direct bookings, personalize guest experiences, and optimize marketing spend. All whilst trying to run lean teams in a highly competitive environment. So a quick show of hands, how many of you know a hotel or hospitality group who has one team for revenue management and another team for marketing? Anyone? Yeah, a few of you? Okay. I think that's a normal situation. But now, I'll ask you to keep those hands up if you've seen those two teams collaborating in the same office at the same time every day. Looks like an empty ocean here, right? And I think that's the typical situation that we face today, and this is what we're trying to solve, and this is what we'll be presenting about. So what if I told you that we're seeing hotels achieve record levels of occupancy leadership amongst their competitor set, and RevPAR that systematically is also outperforming their competition? That's up to 15% increases in revenue year on year, all whilst without having any additional spend on marketing or without hiring any additional staff. So these aren't just numbers on a slide, these are real results. And to show you how, we're going to walk you through a very real situation that a lot of hoteliers are facing today. It's the current state of affairs. And then we'll be able to present how our exciting new technology enables an entirely new future for hospitality. So Nikhll here, as well as being Head of Data Science, is also a hotelier. So Nick, I'd love to understand, what are the current challenges that you're seeing a lot of hoteliers facing today?
Absolutely. So Amit, just picture the scene. Monday morning, 9 a.m., we're at the Mercure London Paddington Hotel. Revenue and marketing are looking at each other. Expressions are tense, questions are being asked. Weekend pickup, barely any. Empty rooms, double digits. From today, stretching all the way into next week. The big trade show that was supposed to drive demand across the week, minimal impact. So, the response of the hotel, well, it was lacking at best. First thing to say about it, no rates were changed. Rates were static since Friday afternoon. So that is a common situation. And revenue and marketing were at odds with each other. Because the pickup that did come, well, it was for weeks in the future, where the hotel was already ahead of pace. So, it was already ahead of pace, so great, but fairly irrelevant for the current crisis. So Amit, everyone can see, okay? You can analyze past trends. You can make fancy models out of historical data. But in the end, that's not going to save us. Yeah? What we need is something which is adaptive, something that can fix those occupancy gaps in real time. Amit, should we show them causal AI?
Let's do it. So the situation that Nick was describing is a common one, and it's quite a stark one. And the reason why it's so difficult to solve today is because there are so many siloed departments that exist at the hotels today. So we've got our revenue managers working towards driving room revenue goals, and we've got our marketing teams working towards things like return on ad spend. But that can lead to certain situations where there's a bit of a conflict. For example, the marketing team may have achieved record levels of return on ad spend, but if they've allocated all of that revenue into high demand days, days that would have sold out anyway, perhaps they're impacting their total profitability. So it's this fragmentation of data, of systems, of KPIs, that, as Nick was describing, it's next to impossible to be able to build a simple model using all of this data, or to be able to experiment and understand all the combinations of your revenue strategy, your marketing strategy, let alone understanding how external demand factors can work together to try and drive that total profitability. That is, unless you're using causal AI. So to understand what is causal AI, let's look at how things are being done traditionally today. And I would say revenue management today, it's like looking at a photograph. You can see what happened, but you can't see why it happened. For example, it might be able to tell you if you drop your rates, your bookings will increase, or maybe it'll spot some patterns in your data, but it won't tell you what caused these patterns. Causal AI, on the other hand, it's like watching a movie that reveals the whole story, the connections, the causes, the effects, the web of factors that leads to those outcomes. And here's what makes our approach so very different. We're pulling in data from everywhere that matters, not just your own property. You'll see some of these numbers on the screen. That's 50,000 hotels forward-looking bookings, 15,000 hotels meta-search data. We've got global events. We've got booking engine data. We've got competitor rates. That's a lot. In fact, it's 4 billion data points that are being processed every hour. So it sounds like a big number, but what does that actually mean? This is where it becomes interesting. What you're seeing here on the screen is what we call a causal graph. Now, you can think of this as a sophisticated map that captures the cause and effect relationships between all the key factors that influence both your revenue strategy, but also the customer's decision to book. So every one of these lines that you see on the screen is actually a mathematical function that's been defined and modeled. And the beauty is, once we've defined this framework, we can actually understand the interplay between any one of those features on the screen. So let's see an example. Let's say maybe there's a local event that gets cancelled. What's going to be the impact on your weekend demand? Or maybe a competitor drops their rate by 15%. How is that going to impact your bookings? Our system learns from all these relationships. And finally, and perhaps most crucially, is we don't just analyze what happened in the past. The causal understanding is there to provide specific actionable recommendations for the future as well. Now, once we've defined this framework, it then makes it very possible to extend it and combine the disciplines of both revenue management and marketing. So now we're in a position where we can actually understand the interplay between your rate strategy and your marketing actions and optimize them as part of a unified commercial engine to drive your total profitability. So that's what we've done here. This is what we've built with Cloudbeds Intelligence. It's the industry's first commercial platform powered by our 4 billion data point per hour causal AI model. So it's not just another RMS or it's not just another marketing tool. It's about bringing together these disciplines of revenue management and marketing in a way that we're calling revenue marketing. You can see what we did there. So now, coming back to that situation that Nikhll was describing at McCure Paddington, that panicked question of, what can I do to sell these last 15 rooms? Well, now, the hotel would have received a specific set of recommended actions. And this is learned from thousands of similar situations in the past as to what is the specific set of actions that will optimize profitability, not just total revenue. And the beauty is, it's getting smarter over time. So did that concert cancellation impact the bookings as we expected? Or perhaps did that email campaign convert at the expected rate? The system is continuously learning and refining that understanding of cause and effect. And the beauty is, as we touched on at the beginning of the presentation, the hotels who are using Cloudbeds intelligence, they're seeing remarkable results, up to 15% increases in revenue. As well as this, they're seeing savings in time and resources. So there's no longer those hour-long meetings about trying to debate what might be the best course of action. Now they'll have a specific set of recommended actions for the future. So Nick, I know your properties have been using Cloudbeds intelligence for a while, so I'd love to understand that situation you described earlier. How's it now changed?
Absolutely. Let me take you back then to McCure, London, Paddington. The signs were there, but the response wasn't. So, deep within the data lay hidden, in particular, 3 hidden causal variables. The first we touched upon already, that overconfidence in the event to fill the hotel. But then there was number 2, there was the competitor actions. Competitors were busy dropping their rate, enhancing their visibility, whilst our rates were being held static. And then number 3, a bit more subtle, there was actually a flurry of negative reviews during that week, and that was having the impact of deterring bookers. So, using those 4 billion data points streamed and processed per hour, it was possible to predict outcomes from specified actions. And it's really important to emphasize those data points come from your own hotel, but also from your competitors themselves. So you're able to see what's actually coming along and take the necessary actions. And I'm showing here hotel rate versus the competitor rates. And the key thing here is demand was falling, and we were able to see that ahead of time. And what do? Well, we undercut the competition when we need to, and we also enhance visibility. And vice versa. You can see when demand is rising ahead of time. And in that case, what do? Well, you push rate, and you actually stop all those visibility boosters because they're not necessary. So let's actually look at that particular Monday morning 9 a.m. scenario. Okay? What did causal AI reveal for us? Well, firstly, simple emails, book now, we're just not going to cut it. Even though that's the marketing go-to, send an email to everyone in the contact list, that was just not sufficient for the scale of the issue at hand. What causal AI did instead was lay out a 3-stage action plan for recovery. So, number 1, retargeting of website users with time-sensitive deals. So using urgency to turn lookers into bookers. Number 2, activation of lookalike audiences. In particular, with travel intent, and if anyone knows Paddington, along the train lines into Paddington. And then, number 3, straight cuts definitely not resonating. We need perk-based, personalized promotions. Everything from early check-in to romance packages. And going even beyond that into museum passes and theater packages, causal AI allows you to do it all. And what's the point of it all? So you create that city center experience to appeal to the staycationer market. So we've actioned this plan. Now let's look at some results of Mercure London Paddington. We've taken a comp set in the surrounding area, and what was the impact on performance? These are all 4-star properties. They're all at very similar price points and similar ADR. But Mercure Paddington started applying causal AI. And in January 2025, Mercure Paddington outshined its competitor set in occupancy by over 45%. So 93% occupancy for Mercure Paddington, 64% for the comp set. And in terms of RevPAR, £120 for Mercure Paddington versus £79 for the comp set. And this was a comp set of 4-star properties in the area. And these astonishing results were achieved by processing those 4 billion data points per hour of the hotel and of the competitors, because it allows you not just to predict what's going to happen, but actually intervene and do that faster than ever before.
So I think you'll all agree, those numbers are truly staggering. They're not just an incremental improvement, they're a fundamental step change in what's possible today. And what makes it possible, as Nikhil touched on, is because of this causal AI model with those 4 billion data points that are being processed every hour. They decipher these market forces and allow us to predict demand to unprecedented levels of accuracy. We're reaching levels of up to 95% accuracy over the 6-month window, and it's improving with every day and with every additional data point. And what it's allowing us to achieve, it's allowing us to unlock this new discipline of revenue marketing. It's not revenue with a dash of marketing insight or marketing with a sprinkle of revenue data. It's holistically bringing together these two disciplines and powering it with causal AI. So let's actually see this in action. What you're seeing here on the screen is a set of recommendations across both your rate strategy and your marketing strategy. But these aren't isolated recommendations. They're all working together in harmony. They've all been cross-optimized as part of this unified commercial engine. So what does that mean? Well, let's look at an example. Let's say you had a dedicated RMS, and it might say, your rate is 100 euros, but you're not selling many rooms. I recommend you reduce it to 70 euros. But with Cloudbeds Intelligence, you can do something different. It will say, actually, just drop the rate to 80 euros and also deploy an e-marketing campaign to a select group of your customers. And now you'll still sell all your rooms, but at a much higher rate. And that's only possible when you're looking together at the whole property as one. So we'll follow that through. Now, every pricing decision, it's being informed by these billions of data points and behavior patterns. And every marketing action is being precisely targeted and optimized for profitability. And finally, every guest interaction on your site, on your booking engine, it's being captured, understood, and leveraged to build that long-term customer lifetime value. It's about all these parts working together as one. So I know what you must be thinking. This isn't science fiction. This is what's possible because of causal AI and Cloudbeds Intelligence, and it's all what it has the possibility to do to unlock for the entirety of the hospitality industry. So it's not about just more efficient revenue management or more effective marketing. It's about bringing these disciplines together holistically. And as we touched on, as Nikhil presented, the hotels who are using Cloudbeds Intelligence are seeing remarkable levels of performance. They're not just beating the competition, they're redefining what is possible in the industry today. So now I would say it's not about having to choose between revenue or marketing excellence. It's about bringing these forces together using artificial intelligence, or as we like to call it, using actionable intelligence. So that is revenue marketing, that's Cloudbeds Intelligence, and that future is here today. Thank you for your time. If you're interested to learn more, you can just scan that QR code on the screen. Otherwise, we'd welcome any further questions. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Amit, Nikhil. Revenue-based marketing or revenue marketing made by AI with 4 billion data points per hour. Let's see how we match it within the next 2.5 hours. Thank you.